they start to figure out who they want to be, you don't want to take it personally that all of a sudden, they're now changing to something different.
And really, that perspective was there for you to take that first step and reflect back on your childhood and your relationship with your parents. Our 6 children will tell you that we work hard at connecting with them. They will also tell you that we ask a lot of questions and we try really hard not to judge.
And do we have bumps in the road? Of course we do. All relationships can have a bad season or a bad time. The key is to recognize when it's off kilter and then adjust as quickly as you can.
You know, the danger is not getting back on track. There's plenty of isolation, there's separation, and sometimes even estrangement.
My dad was an alcoholic. I worked with him for 25 years in the family business, and unfortunately for him, that was something that he just struggled with. My mom actually quit drinking so she could help enable it. But from the outside, they lived a wonderful life. They were happy, they were in love with each other. And I have empathy and compassion for the disease, alcoholism. But there became a point in time when my 3 children, who were 2, 4, and 5, became of an age that they were easily influenced. And my wife at the time and I made a decision to not let them be around my dad.
A really difficult decision for you because I know you think about it a lot, but it was really time for boundaries. And I think you told me it went on for like 3 years, but you did let your mom see the kids.
I did.
I know that was hard on both of them, you as the adult child and your parents.
It was hard. It was really the most difficult decision that I've ever made. And my dad never forgave me for that. But over time, as we tried so hard to get him to get over this disease and he couldn't, he finally understood why I did what I did, and he got over it, and we had a fine relationship. And in the end, it was really the alcohol that killed him at the age of 80, well before his time. Now, this story isn't about alcoholism. It's just about the fact that I had a difficult relationship with my dad for a period of time. We had a really bad season.
You did, and we share this story because we're now parents and grandparents, and we would never want that to happen to us. And it really did shape the way we live our lives and how we manage our relationship with our children. Before we get into our 9 tips, let us give you a little perspective on Mark and I. Our kids transitioned into adulthood pretty recently, all of them. There are 6 of them. They range from age 37 to 24. Can be a challenging time. They get jobs. They're looking for meaningful relationships. They're moving all over the U.S.
They bought their, when kids buy their first car, they get into a deep relationship like Jody just said. They start to have a family. Maybe they get married. We nurtured and influenced them for a long time.
For most of their life up until then.
And we did the best we could with the tools that we had. But as they became of age and they moved from being dependent to independent, they all started to change a little bit.
They did. They really looked at themselves, where they came from, and their characteristics, their traits, their identity, and who they wanted to be.
So what we learned is that, and I reflected back on my time at that time, getting my first car, getting married, starting a family. I changed. I didn't turn into what my parents were. I turned into what I think is a better version of them. So we have experience there, and we just wanted to reflect on this to give some perspective to what the kids are going through, and as they start to figure out who they want to be, you don't want to take it personally that all of a sudden, they're now changing to something different.
And really, that perspective was there for you to take that first step and reflect back on your childhood and your relationship with your parents. One of the things that we have that our children don't are these past experiences. Past mistakes, past heartbreaks, and a tremendous amount of wisdom.
Now look, we hope you're getting value out of this. And if you are, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button down below, or like it, and even better yet, share it and leave comments. And don't forget, we want you to stay to the end, because after we go through the 9 tips, we're going to give you a surefire exercise to begin how you can deepen your relationship with your adult children.
So let's jump into the 9 tips. You know, first, our research included many experts in this area, many articles, many institutions, and our own experiences. And we had our own little kind of group with our children that we could bounce some ideas off of.
Well,
So-
I would say it was more than a group. We actually took the time.
Well, it's a focus group.
Well, yeah, a focus group with our kids.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different thing. Did we call it that?
We did.
We did not. We called each of our kids and we had a conversation about our relationship, and we actually got some really great feedback, which was fun. Some of the things they said were, well, you go to bed earlier.
Oh,
You,
sorry.
You eat dinner earlier. What else did they say that was kind of funny?
Sometimes you're rigid.
Oh, yeah, we're a little more rigid. Why do you keep pointing at me?
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay, well, but we also found that they said things like we listen well.
Right.
We ask a lot of questions.
We're interested in what they're doing.
Right.
Not always just telling them how interesting we are.
Right. So it was really good for us to spend some time with our kids to talk about this.
So
But-
let's get into the 9
So
tips.
the first one is really a reflection. Take stock of the situation. How bad is it? How bad is your current relationship with your adult children? And you want to open a dialogue.
Absolutely. And again, think back on that relationship with your parents, and maybe if it's at a breaking point, get some professional help.
Yeah, it's really important.
Number 2, recognize and respect your differences. You know, you parented those children for a long time, and like Mark said, you did the best you could. You know, you worked with what you had, and then you launched them into the world.
Which is what we're supposed to do.
Absolutely. But now they've developed. It's time for them to grow and change. You know, it's time for them to find maybe other influences, develop their own voice, and it could be a time to set some boundaries.
Like I did. I listen, it was the hardest thing I did was to pull my kids away from my dad, but it was important to do. It didn't change him. And my kids now, I believe, have a much different respect of alcoholism. So that was helpful. But setting boundaries is really important. And if you need to do it, you need to do it.
The third thing is to try to understand where they're coming from. I mean, really listen. Listen to try to understand and to ask questions. Have empathy. And one point that's always really hard for me is try not to always fix everything. Don't be a fixer.
Let's
You know,
talk
just-
about that. 'Cause
just listen with
talk
some
about, because
empathy.
that's your MO.
It is.
Kids come to you with a problem and they say, I have this, and this, and you immediately want to fix it. The kids don't necessarily want that. They really want to be heard first. And then you can offer, do they need advice or not? But you really want to understand where they're coming from, and that's it.
Right.
The fourth one, respond and don't react, right?
Yes, we did an entire YouTube on this, and it's going to be in the notes below. It's really a time for you to listen, reflect, ponder. Take 5 if you need a pause.
Right.
But don't react. Really come back with a thoughtful response.
So when we say react, it's your reaction is really you saying something you haven't really given any thought to. You hear something and your children might be halfway through the sentence and you know exactly just what you want to say. That's a reaction. So making sure that you sit back, pause, and listen carefully and quietly, like Jody said, and just slow down. So you can't take it back. When you react, you can't take it back.
That's right.
You've already done it.
So the 5th one is try to avoid power plays. Using money as a leverage, if they need something, they need to be bailed out, but then you don't have full say over what they do with the rest of their lives. And along with that is this idea of ultimatums. Giving them an ultimatum in that power play conversation never works.
All right, number 6. Do things with your children that you love doing together. We love this one. One of the things we do is try to do every 2 years a huge family vacation.
Ooh, I think we're up this year.
I hope we are. But do hobbies and sports, shopping. Take your kids shopping one-on-one and buy them a few things. My boys and I like to play golf, so we do golf trips.
Or even, like the girls and I will all read the same book. So it doesn't always have to be buying them things. You could read the same book or, share some sort of memory. I call this really the big bucket of be a memory maker.
All right, this one, making sure.
Number 7,
a way to go deep in your relationship with your adult children. Make room in your life for their significant others. Now, this might be hard. We hear people all the time, oh, I don't really like him. She's just not really good for him. Listen, your kids pick who they pick.
Right.
And it's really important that if they're really in love, you've got to find a way to make a relationship with this important person that's in your kid's life.
And outside of just making room for them, make that connection important to you.
Yeah.
Because the more it's important to you, the more time you invest, the better you'll be.
And just get to know them.
Right, absolutely. Number 8, be a consultant, not a CEO of their life.
It's not about running their world and their lives and making decisions for them. That's up to them. It's just about offering some expert advice, asking some questions, and give them some guidance. That's it. And if you start to shell out criticism, it's going to shut them down. So you have to be careful.
Yeah, you do have to, find a way to share your wisdom and do it with grace and humility without overstepping, but continuously supporting. I think that's really, really big. And number 9, foster open communication. And that doesn't just mean with what you say. It's the tone of your voice, your posture, your nonverbal cues, rolling of your eyes.
Yeah, you're a good eye roller.
I am.
Yeah, particularly to me.
But it's your body language and your facial expressions. It's a big part of how people pick up on how you're communicating.
So that was the 9, and we're going to give you our surefire way to start a process. But, the decision I made with my dad was tough, but we all survived it.
Right.
We talked about it a lot, and over time he understood why we did what we did. And had we not talked about it, and had we not worked through it, it definitely could have broken our family apart, but it didn't.
And that's not what we want for your family. So here's a quick exercise to begin the process. First, might sound silly, write down the name of all your kids. Just write them down. We have 6, so we have to make a list.
Big list.
Next thing on the list is write down everything good and healthy about your relationship with that child one at a time.
And make the list long. Just keep focusing and writing everything that's good about it. We want to focus on the positive. Because the next thing you're going to do is make a list of everything you love about who they are. What is it that when you think of them, you think of this positive thing?
And then the fourth thing to do is to make a list of areas that you want to work on with that particular relationship.
Yeah, not a list of things that they're bad at or why you don't love them. A list of things you want to work on. And then the last step, number 5, is set up a call. Or better yet, get some time with them. Have a coffee.
Absolutely.
If you can.
Be kind and thoughtful. Focus on the positive. Be interested in what they're doing. Not interesting, but interested. Chip away at the areas that need work one at a time.
So guys, we hope you enjoyed this. Do us a favor. We really want to get out in front of as many people as we can. So share it with your friends. Please hit the subscribe button by clicking the button below. And don't forget, join our free Facebook community and follow us on all social media, Instagram and everything else. All the links are below.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to being back with you again soon.